let me ask you something. You think serving those divorce papers is your ticket to freedom? You think you're finally closing a painful chapter? I'm here to tell you to wipe that thought right out of your head. You haven't ended the war. You just pushed the big red button. You've declared all out, no holds barred psychological warfare. Today, we're not talking about a normal breakup. We're talking about what happens when you commit the ultimate narcissistic injury. You publicly fire them from their starring role in your life. This isn't about dividing assets. This is about their survival. They will not go quietly. They will go to war. And their goal isn't to win. Their goal is to annihilate you. You have to understand their entire identity is built on control and a fantasy of superiority. When you file for divorce, you are telling them and the world, you are not good enough, you have failed. I am rejecting you. This is an injury they cannot survive. Their ego cannot process it. Their first thought isn't, I'm sad this is over. It's, she can't quit me, I quit her! I will destroy her before she has a chance to tell the world I'm a failure. It's a preemptive strike born from pure panic and rage. Listen to me carefully. The person you married, the person you thought you knew, that person is gone. What you're dealing with now is a cornered animal fighting for its psychological survival. And when a narcissist feels their very identity is under attack, there are no rules. There is no moral compass. There is only the desperate need to prove that they are not the failure that you are. They're not going to wait. The second they're served, they open up 3 fronts of attack. We're going to break these down, but here they are. The legal front. The courtroom becomes their stage. The social front, your friends and family become their soldiers. The psychological front, your children become their pawns. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening in their mind right now. They're not sitting there thinking about the good times you had together. They're not reflecting on what went wrong. They're strategizing, they're plotting. They're asking themselves one question. How do I make her pay for this humiliation? See, in their twisted reality, you didn't leave because they were abusive. You didn't leave because they were controlling or manipulative. You left because you're ungrateful. You left because you're selfish. You left because you can't handle a real relationship. That's the story they're telling themselves, and that's the story they're about to sell to everyone who will listen. Now let's get real here. This is a community, and we need to learn from each other. For those of you who have been brave enough to walk this path, I want you to drop a comment below. What was the very first thing the narcissist did when you served them with papers? Was it a threat, a lie? A sudden act of kindness? Let's expose this playbook together. I'm reading every single one. Because here's what I know from decades of dealing with these cases, they all follow the same script. It's like they went to the same school for psychological warfare. The tactics might vary slightly, but the goal is always the same: to punish you for daring to reject them. They will become the victim faster than you can blink. They will spin a tale so convincing, so heart-wrenching, that people who have known you for years will start to question what they thought they knew about you. They are master manipulators, and they're about to put on the performance of their lifetime. And here's the kicker: they genuinely believe their own lies. In their mind, they are the victim. They are the one who was wronged. They are the one who deserves sympathy and support. This isn't conscious deception. This is a complete rewrite of reality that allows them to maintain their fragile self-image. You're going to be tempted to fight fire with fire. You're going to want to tell everyone the truth about what really happened behind closed doors. You're going to want to expose them for who they really are. But let me save you some time and heartache. Don't waste your energy. People are going to believe what they want to believe, and a narcissist is very, very good at being believable. Instead, you need to understand that this isn't just a fight, it's a performance. And they need a new stage. The old stage was your home. The new one, it's the courthouse. And they are about to put on the performance of a lifetime. They will walk into that courtroom not as someone who's seeking a fair resolution, but as someone who's seeking revenge. They will use every tool at their disposal: lies, manipulation, false tears, and manufactured evidence to convince a judge that you are the monster and they are the innocent victim. But here's what you need to remember: this reaction, this over-the-top scorched earth response, is actually proof that you made the right decision. A healthy person doesn't respond to divorce papers by declaring war. A healthy person doesn't try to destroy someone they once claimed to love. Their reaction is confirmation that you were right to leave. The road ahead is going to be brutal. It's going to test every ounce of strength you have. But you need to know that their desperate need to destroy you comes from a place of profound weakness, not strength. You have something they will never have: the courage to walk away from toxicity and choose a better life for yourself and potentially your children. So buckle up. The war has begun, and it's going to get ugly before it gets better. You walk into your lawyer's office with a box of evidence and a story of abuse. They walk into their lawyer's office with a box of tissues and a story of betrayal. They are not there to negotiate. They are there to recruit an ally for their smear campaign. Let me tell you what's happening right now in that other lawyer's office. They're sitting there, probably dabbing their eyes with a tissue, speaking in a soft, wounded voice about how they tried everything to save the marriage, how they were the perfect spouse who was married to a monster, how they're just heartbroken that it's come to this, but they're afraid for their safety and the safety of the children. They will present themselves as the calm, rational, heartbroken victim who was married to a monster. They will lie with a straight face, cry on command, and twist every story to make you look unhinged, unstable, and abusive. Their goal is to charm the professionals and poison the well before you even get a word in. And here's the thing that's going to make your blood boil. They're good at it. Really, really good. They've been practicing this performance for years, perfecting it on friends, family, and coworkers. Now they're taking it to the big stage, and they know exactly which buttons to push. They'll talk about how you changed during the marriage, how you became controlling, jealous, unreasonable. They'll mention how they tried couples therapy, but you refused to participate. They'll paint themselves as the long, suffering spouse who endured years of emotional abuse before finally finding the courage to seek help. Every single story they tell will have a grain of truth twisted beyond recognition. Remember that fight you had about money? In their version, you were financially abusive. Remember when you asked them to stop going out every night? In their version, you were controlling and isolating. Remember when you finally snapped and raised your voice? In their version, you're volatile and potentially dangerous. This is what I call financial warfare. They use the system itself as a weapon. They will file motion after motion for things that make no sense. They'll refuse to turn over documents. They'll challenge every single point. Why? It's simple. They know that every motion costs you money. Every delay wears you down. They are trying to bankrupt you emotionally and financially until you have no choice but to surrender. Think about it. While you're scraping together money for attorney fees, they're sitting back thinking, I will make this so painful and so expensive that she'll regret ever being born. I will make her pay for this betrayal. Every frivolous motion, every baseless objection, every delay tactic is designed to bleed you dry. They'll demand depositions for witnesses that have nothing to do with the case. They'll request documents that don't exist. They'll claim they never received paperwork that was hand-delivered. They'll show up late to mediation, come unprepared to hearings, and then request continuances because they need more time. Your lawyer is going to get frustrated. Your lawyer is going to tell you this is the most difficult case they've ever handled. And you're going to start wondering if maybe you're the problem. Don't you dare fall for that. This is exactly what they want for you to question your own sanity and your own reality. This is where it gets truly dangerous. To gain leverage, they will not hesitate to make the most horrific false allegations. They'll accuse you of child abuse, addiction, financial crimes, or mental instability. They know these accusations trigger immediate investigations and put you on the defensive. Listen to me very carefully. It's not about whether they can prove it, it's about the accusation itself. It's about getting the court to see you as a problem from day one. It's a scorched-earth tactic designed to destroy your credibility and reputation. The moment those allegations hit the court documents, you're no longer the victim seeking a divorce. You're now a suspected child abuser fighting to prove your innocence. You're no longer the person trying to escape an abusive marriage. You're now the unstable spouse who might be a danger to the children. Do you see how brilliantly evil this is? They've completely flipped the script. Now you're spending thousands of dollars on psychological evaluations to prove you're sane. You're taking drug tests to prove you're sober. You're jumping through hoops to prove you're a fit parent while they sit back and watch you scramble. And while you're frantically trying to defend yourself against these baseless accusations, they're playing the concerned parent. They're the one who's just trying to protect the children. They're the one who's worried about your stability. They're the one who reluctantly had to bring these issues to the court's attention. Your friends and family are going to start looking at you differently. Even if they don't believe the allegations, the seed of doubt has been planted. People start thinking, well, there must be some truth to it, or why would they make such serious accusations? This is exactly what they're counting on. The courthouse becomes their theater, and they are the star of their own tragic drama. Every hearing is a chance to perform. Every interaction with court personnel is an opportunity to demonstrate how reasonable and cooperative they are compared to you. They'll dress conservatively, speak respectfully to the judge, and present themselves as the stable, responsible parent. They'll bring character witnesses who will testify to what a wonderful person they are. They'll have documentation of their volunteer work, their involvement in the children's activities, their stellar employment record. Meanwhile, you're sitting there looking frazzled because you've been up all night preparing documents, stressed because you can't afford to miss work for another hearing, and frustrated because no one seems to understand what you've really been through. The system is designed to be fair, but fairness requires both parties to operate in good faith. When one party is willing to lie, cheat, manipulate, and destroy, the system becomes a weapon in their hands. They understand this better than you do, and they're using it to their full advantage. As ugly as the courtroom gets, there's a battlefront that is far more sinister. They are willing to sacrifice the most precious thing in your life to win their war, your children. A narcissist doesn't see a child, they see leverage. They will begin a systematic, insidious campaign to turn your children against you. This is called parental alienation. They will whisper lies. They'll tell the kids that you don't love them, that you left them, that you're selfish. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like. Your 8-year-old comes home from their father's house and won't look you in the eye. When you ask what's wrong, they say, "Daddy says you left us because you don't want to be a family anymore." Your heart breaks because you know you left to protect yourself and them from the toxicity, but now your own child is looking at you like you're the villain. They'll make themselves the fun parent and paint you as the strict, angry one. They'll share inappropriate adult details about the divorce. They'll make the child feel guilty for wanting to spend time with you. While you're enforcing bedtimes, making sure homework gets done, and dealing with the day-to-day realities of parenting, they're taking the kids to Disney World and buying them whatever they want. They're not parenting, they're performing. Every interaction is designed to prove to the children that life is better with them. They'll say things like, "I know Mommy made you go to bed early, but you can stay up late here because I love spending time with you." Or, "I bought you this special toy because I missed you so much while you were at Mommy's house where she was probably too busy to play with you." Do you see how insidious this is? They're not directly saying you're a bad parent, but they're implying it with every special treatment they give. They're creating a comparison where you will always come up short because you're actually parenting while they're just trying to win a popularity contest. But it gets worse. They will share inappropriate adult details about the divorce. They'll tell a 10-year-old about the financial struggles caused by the divorce. They'll explain how expensive it is to have 2 houses. They'll talk about how difficult, you're being about the custody arrangement. Children aren't equipped to handle adult problems, but a narcissist doesn't care. They'll use phrases like, well, this is what your mother wanted, or your mother thinks she's better than us. That's why she left. They're poisoning the child's mind with adult concepts and forcing them to take sides in a war they never asked to be part of. They will make the child feel guilty for wanting to spend time with you. Picture this: your daughter is excited about the weekend she's going to spend with you, and she mentions it to her father. He responds with, "Oh, you'd rather be with her than me. I thought we were going to have a special day together, but I guess you don't want to spend time with Daddy anymore." Now your child is torn. They want to see you, but they don't want to hurt their father's feelings. So they start hiding their excitement about your time together. They start pretending they don't want to come with you to protect his feelings. And you're left wondering why your own child seems reluctant to spend time with you. They will use your own children to gather information. What did Mommy do this weekend? Who was at the house? They'll also use them to deliver threats and hurtful messages. They turn the child into a pawn, forcing them into a position of divided loyalty that is psychologically damaging. Your child becomes an unwitting spy in their own home. They'll ask seemingly innocent questions like, did anyone come over while I was gone? Or what did you and Mommy talk about in the car? They're not being naturally curious. They've been coached to gather intelligence. Even worse, they'll use the children as messengers for their poison. Your 7-year-old will come home and say something like, Daddy says you need to buy him new shoes because you're supposed to pay for everything now. Or, Daddy says he's sad because you won't let him come to my school play. The child is trapped. If they defend you, they face the narcissist's wrath. If they side with the narcissist, they feel the guilt of betraying you. This is emotional abuse, plain and simple. Think about the impossible position this puts your child in. They love both parents, but they're being forced to choose sides. If they show loyalty to you, they get punished at their other parent's house. If they show loyalty to their other parent, they feel guilty for hurting you. Children are naturally loyal to both parents. It goes against their very nature to reject a parent. So when they start pulling away from you, when they start repeating the narcissist talking points, when they start treating you like the enemy, it's not because they've stopped loving you. It's because they're being psychologically manipulated by someone who should be protecting them. You think they're fighting for 50-50 custody because they want to be a parent. Don't be naive. They are fighting for custody to maintain control over you. Here's the reality check you need to hear. They don't want custody because they love being a parent. They want custody because it gives them power. Custody gives them a permanent channel to your life. It forces you to interact with them. It allows them to control schedules, holidays, and decisions. And most importantly, it gives them the power to hurt you through your children for years to come. Every text about pickup times becomes an opportunity to criticize you. Every school event becomes a chance to undermine your authority. Every holiday becomes a battlefield where your children are the casualties. They know that your children are your weakness. They know that you would do anything to protect them, including staying in an unhealthy situation. So they use your love for your children against you. They know that the threat of losing your children or seeing them hurt is more powerful than any financial threat or legal consequence. This is why custody battles with narcissists are so brutal. It's not about what's best for the children. It's about maintaining control over you. It's about ensuring that even after the divorce, they still have the power to hurt you whenever they want. Their desire to control you extends to every part of your life, especially the part that keeps a roof over your head. Get ready for financial warfare on a scale you cannot imagine. The moment they even think you might leave, they start moving money. They will become financial ghosts. They'll open secret bank accounts, transfer funds to friends or family, lose documents, and claim their business is suddenly failing. Let me tell you what's happening behind the scenes. While you're sleeping, they're awake transferring money to accounts you've never heard of. While you're at work, They're meeting with their brother to hand over cash that they'll claim was a loan repayment from years ago. While you're picking up the kids from school, they're liquidating investments and hiding the proceeds. The mindset is crystal clear. She's not getting a penny. I would rather burn this money to the ground than let her have it. This is my money, and I will protect it at all costs. They don't see marital assets as shared property. They see it as their property that you're trying to steal. In their twisted logic, you contributed nothing to the marriage, you deserve nothing from the marriage, and they'll be damned if you're going to walk away with half of what they worked for. So they get creative, real creative. That business that was doing so well last year, suddenly it's hemorrhaging money. Those investment accounts that were growing steadily, the market took a terrible turn. That bonus they were expecting, the company decided not to pay it out after all. They'll transfer the deed of the house to their mother. They'll claim they owe money to friends who are more than happy to play along with the charade. They'll prepay expenses for the next 5 years to reduce the amount of liquid assets available for division. And here's the kicker, they'll do all of this while claiming they want to be fair. They'll sit in mediation with a straight face and say, I wish I could give her more, but as you can see from these documents, there just isn't much left. This one is shocking, but it happens all the time. To avoid paying child support or alimony, they will intentionally get themselves fired or quit a high-paying job to take one that pays minimum wage. They will sabotage their own career to sabotage you. Picture this, your ex-husband was making 6 figures as a sales manager. Now he's working part-time at a retail store making $10 an hour. When the court asks what happened, he's got a sob story ready. The company downsized, his position was eliminated. He's doing his best in a tough economy. But here's what really happened. He started showing up late. He stopped meeting his sales targets. He became difficult with clients and co-workers. He created a situation where the company had no choice but to let him go. Then he deliberately took a job that pays a fraction of what he's capable of earning. The satisfaction they get from depriving you of money is greater than their own need for that money. Their hatred for you is more powerful than their ambition. Let that sink in. They would rather live in poverty than see you get what you're legally entitled to. They would rather sabotage their own future than contribute to yours. This is how deep their need for revenge runs. They will cut off their own nose to spite their face. And they'll do it with a smile because they know it's hurting you more than it's hurting them. You're sitting there thinking, but what about the children? Don't they want to provide for their own kids? And that's where you're thinking like a normal person. They're not thinking about the children's needs. They're thinking about winning. And in their mind, they win when you lose, even if the children lose too. They will go on a spending spree with joint credit cards. They'll take out loans you don't know about. They are intentionally creating a mountain of debt that you will be legally tied to. It's a final, parting shot to cripple you financially as you walk out the door. Remember those credit cards you thought were paid off? Surprise! They've been maxed out. That home equity line of credit you forgot about. They've tapped into it. Those joint accounts that had healthy balances. They've been drained to pay for things you never saw or benefited from. They'll buy expensive toys, take lavish vacations, purchase vehicles they don't need, all in the final months before the divorce is finalized. They know that debt accumulated during the marriage will likely be split between both parties, so they're creating as much debt as possible to stick you with half the bill. And they're not buying things that will hold their value or that could be sold to recoup the money. They're buying experiences, services, and depreciating assets. They'll spend $10,000 on a motorcycle they ride twice, $5,000 on a vacation they take with their new girlfriend, $3,000 on clothes they'll never wear. It's financial vandalism, plain and simple. They're trashing the finances the same way an angry tenant might trash an apartment before getting evicted. If they can't have it all, they'll make sure there's nothing left for you to have either. But here's what makes it even more cruel. They'll do all of this while claiming they're broke. While you're struggling to pay for groceries, they're eating at expensive restaurants. While you're worried about making rent, they're making payments on luxury items they purchased with marital funds. They'll cry poverty to the court while living a lifestyle that clearly indicates they have access to money. But proving where that money is coming from becomes your burden, and tracking down hidden assets costs money you don't have. You start to feel like you're going crazy. The math doesn't add up. The person who claims to be financially devastated by the divorce seems to be living better than they did during the marriage. But every time you bring it up, you're painted as greedy, vindictive, or obsessed with money. The war isn't just fought in the courtroom or your bank account. It's fought in the court of public opinion. And they are about to launch a propaganda campaign to isolate you from everyone you know. The term comes from the Wizard of Oz. Flying monkeys are the people the narcissist enlists to do their dirty work. They will go to your mutual friends, your in-laws, even your own family with their carefully crafted victim story. Picture this scene. Your ex is sitting across from your best friend at a coffee shop, looking devastated and vulnerable. Their voice is soft, wounded, almost breaking as they speak. I'm so worried about her. She's been so unstable lately. I tried everything, but she just pushed me away. I just want what's best for the kids. It's a manipulative, believable performance designed to recruit allies. And your best friend, who genuinely cares about you, is sitting there thinking, wow, I had no idea things were this bad. Maybe I should reach out to her. Maybe I should be worried. This is exactly what the narcissist is counting on. They're not just telling their side of the story. They're positioning themselves as the concerned, caring ex who's worried about your well-being. They're painting themselves as the mature one who's trying to take the high road while you spiral out of control. They'll share just enough insider information to make it seem credible. They'll mention that time you had a panic attack and make it sound like a complete mental breakdown. They'll talk about that glass of wine you had at dinner and make it sound like you have a drinking problem. They'll twist your moments of vulnerability into evidence of instability. And here's the brilliant part of their strategy. They'll ask your friends to help. I'm just so worried about her. Could you maybe check in on her? I think she really needs support right now. But she won't listen to me. Now your friend feels like they're on a rescue mission and you're the one who needs saving. They know you need a support system to survive this. So their goal is to destroy it. They want to cut you off from anyone who might offer you comfort, advice, or a place to stay. If they can isolate you, they believe they can break you. Think about how strategic this is. Your support system is your lifeline during a divorce. These are the people who will validate your reality when you start questioning your own sanity. These are the people who will remind you why you left when you're tempted to go back. These are the people who will loan you money when legal fees start piling up. The narcissist understands this better than you do. They know that a person with a strong support system is harder to control and harder to break. So they systematically work to dismantle that support system by turning your people against you. They'll approach each person with a slightly different version of the story tailored to what they know will resonate. To your religious family members, they'll emphasize how you've abandoned your commitment to marriage and family. To your party-loving friends, they'll express concern about your drinking or lifestyle choices. To your conservative relatives, they'll worry about your mental health and decision-making. Each conversation is calculated to plant seeds of doubt about your character and your judgment. They're not looking for people to hate you. They're looking for people to worry about you. Because worried people start treating you differently. They start questioning your decisions. They start trying to help you by encouraging you to be more reasonable, more flexible, more willing to compromise. They will use social media as their personal propaganda machine. They'll post vague, passive, aggressive memes about betrayal. They'll post pictures of themselves with the kids looking like the perfect parent. Every post is a calculated move to paint you as the villain and them as the saint. Scroll through their social media during this time and you'll see a masterclass in manipulation. They'll share quotes about forgiveness and moving on, positioning themselves as the bigger person. They'll post throwback photos of family vacations with captions about how much they miss the good times. They'll share articles about the effects of divorce on children, with subtle implications that this is something you're doing to the kids. They'll post pictures of themselves at every school event, every soccer game, every recital, making sure everyone sees what a dedicated parent they are. And the pictures with the kids, those are weapons. They'll post photo after photo of themselves looking happy and engaged with the children. The message is clear. Look how great the kids are doing with me. Look how much fun we have together. Look what a loving, stable parent I am. Meanwhile, you're dealing with the day-to-day reality of parenting. You're helping with homework, dealing with tantrums, managing schedules, and enforcing rules. You don't have time to stage photo shoots or craft the perfect social media narrative. You're too busy actually being a parent to perform being a parent. But to the outside world, it looks like they're thriving while you're falling apart. It looks like they're focused on the children while you're focused on the drama. It looks like they're taking the high road while you're being vindictive. Every mutual friend who sees these posts starts to form an opinion. Every family member who follows their social media starts to wonder if maybe you were too hasty in leaving. Every casual acquaintance starts to think maybe there are two sides to this story and you're not telling yours very well. The most insidious part is how they use your own words against you. Remember that frustrated text you sent about pickup times? They'll screenshot it and show people how hostile you're being. Remember that email where you finally stood up for yourself? They'll share it as evidence of how aggressive you've become. They'll take your moments of legitimate anger and frustration and present them as proof that you're unstable. They'll take your attempts to set boundaries and present them as proof that you're uncooperative. They'll take your efforts to protect yourself and present them as proof that you're vindictive. Your character assassination is happening in real time, and you don't even know it. While you're focused on surviving the legal battle and protecting your children, they're waging a PR campaign to destroy your reputation and isolate you from your support system. You might think that once the divorce is final, it's over. But for a narcissist, the decree is just a piece of paper. The war simply enters a new phase. The courts order you to use co-parenting apps for communication. You think it's for logistics. They see it as a direct line to harass you. They will flood you with hundreds of messages, criticize your every move, and use the app to continue the fight under the guise of co-parenting. Let me tell you what your phone looks like now. You wake up to 17 notifications from the co-parenting app, 17 messages about a soccer practice that doesn't happen for 3 days. Each message is a paragraph long, full of criticism about how you handled the last pickup, concerns about the clothes you sent the kids in, and detailed instructions about things you've been handling just fine for years. I noticed Emma's hair wasn't brushed when you dropped her off. As her parent, I think we need to discuss proper grooming standards. The lunch you packed for Johnny had too much sugar. I'm concerned about his nutrition when he's with you. You were 5 minutes late for pickup. This kind of disrespect for my time is exactly the problem we had in our marriage. This isn't co-parenting communication. This is psychological torture disguised as parental concern. They're using a court-mandated app to continue the abuse they can no longer inflict in person. Every message is designed to make you feel criticized, controlled, and crazy. But here's the sick genius of it. If you don't respond, they'll escalate and claim you're not communicating about the children. If you do respond, you're giving them exactly what they want: your attention, your emotional energy, and your time. You're trapped in a system that's supposed to protect you, but instead gives them a weapon. They'll send messages at all hours of the night. They'll blow up your phone while you're at work, while you're on a date, while you're trying to sleep. They don't care about boundaries because in their mind, you don't deserve boundaries. You're their property, and they have the right to access you whenever they want. They can't stand not knowing what you're doing. They will drive by your house. They'll follow you. They'll create fake social media profiles to monitor you. They will track your every move because in their mind you still belong to them. You'll start noticing the same car behind you when you're driving to work. You'll see them at the grocery store where you never used to run into them. You'll find out from friends that someone has been asking questions about your new job, your new apartment, your new life. They'll create fake Instagram accounts to follow you. They'll have friends check up on your social media and report back. They'll drive past your house at odd hours just to see if you're home, if there are other cars in the driveway, if the lights are on. This isn't coincidence. This isn't them just happening to be in the same place as you are. This is calculated, obsessive monitoring of your life because they cannot accept that you have a life without them in it. Every piece of information they gather feeds their need to control and their fantasy that they're still relevant to your daily existence. You'll change your routine, take different routes to work, shop at different stores, all because you're trying to avoid the uncomfortable feeling of being watched. You'll second guess every social media post, wondering if they're seeing it and how they'll use it against you. You'll start living your life in the shadows of your own freedom. If you start dating someone new, they will try to sabotage it. They'll send anonymous messages to your new partner. They'll tell the kids lies about them. They cannot tolerate the idea of you being happy without them. Your happiness is the ultimate proof of their failure, and they must destroy it. Picture this scenario. You've been dating someone for a few months. Things are going well. You're starting to feel hopeful about your future. Then your new partner starts getting mysterious text messages warning them about you. She's not who you think she is. Ask her about her drinking problem. She abandoned her children for her own selfish needs. Or worse, they'll use the children as weapons against your new relationship. They'll tell the kids that this new person is trying to replace their father. They'll make the children uncomfortable around your partner by filling their heads with lies and fears. They'll create drama every time you try to include your partner in activities with the kids. Your 8-year-old comes home from their father's house and says, "Daddy says your friend is mean and doesn't like kids." Your teenager suddenly refuses to be in the same room as your new partner because they've been told this person is the reason the family broke up. They're systematically poisoning every chance you have at happiness because your happiness threatens their narrative. If you're thriving without them, if you're building a better life, you're genuinely content, then it proves that they were the problem. And that's a reality they cannot and will not accept. So they'll work tirelessly to sabotage every relationship, every opportunity, every moment of peace you try to build. They'll spread lies to your new partner's friends, their family, their coworkers. They'll create fake dating profiles using your photos to embarrass you. They'll contact your new partner's ex-spouse to share concerns about you being around their children. The goal is to make you undateable, unemployable, and isolated. They want to prove that no one else will want you, that you made a mistake leaving them, that you'll end up alone and miserable. Your failure becomes validation of their worth. You start to wonder if you'll ever be free. You start to question whether leaving was worth it, if this is going to be your life forever. You start to think that maybe it would be easier to just give up, to stop trying to build a new life, to accept that this is your reality. And that's exactly what they want. They want you to give up. They want you to believe that this harassment will never end, that you'll never be truly free, that fighting back is hopeless. I know this sounds hopeless. It sounds like a war you can't win. And in a traditional sense, you can't. You cannot beat them at their own game. But you can survive it. You can get through this. Here's your battle plan. You have to get this through your head right now. You are not divorcing a rational person. They will not be fair. They will not be reasonable. They will not co-parent. The rules of normal human decency do not apply. Stop expecting them to. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start fighting smart. This is the hardest pill to swallow, but it's the most important one. You keep waiting for them to act like a normal human being. You keep hoping they'll put the children first. You keep believing that somewhere deep down, they'll remember the person they used to be or the person you thought they were. Stop it. Stop waiting for sanity from an insane person. Stop expecting fairness from someone whose entire identity is built on winning at any cost. Stop hoping for co-parenting from someone who sees your children as weapons in their war against you. The person you married is gone. The person you're dealing with now is a wounded animal fighting for survival, and wounded animals don't follow rules. They don't negotiate. They don't compromise. They attack, and they don't stop attacking until they're either defeated or they defeat you. Once you accept this reality, everything becomes clearer. You stop wasting energy trying to reason with them. You stop expecting them to be reasonable about custody exchanges. You stop believing their promises or their apologies. You start fighting the war they declared instead of trying to have the conversation they're incapable of having. You need a lawyer who understands high conflict divorce and narcissistic personality disorder. A lawyer who tries to keep things amicable will get eaten alive. You need a shark who is prepared for the lies, the delays, and the dirty tricks. This is the most important investment you will make. Here's what you need to understand about lawyers. Most of them have never dealt with a true narcissist. Most of them believe that all divorces can be resolved through reasonable negotiation between two adults who want what's best for their children. Most of them think that if they just explain the law clearly enough, both parties will see reason and settle. Your narcissistic ex will eat that lawyer for breakfast. They will charm them, manipulate them, and run circles around them. Your nice, reasonable attorney will keep telling you to be patient and take the high road while your ex is playing by prison rules. You need a lawyer who's been in these trenches before. You need someone who won't be shocked by the lies, won't be surprised by the false allegations, and won't be intimidated by the chaos. You need someone who understands that this isn't about reaching a fair agreement. This is about protecting you from a predator. Yes, it's going to cost more. Yes, you're going to have to fight harder for every penny. But the alternative is being destroyed by someone who sees your kindness as weakness and your reasonableness as stupidity. Document everything, every single text, email, and threat. Keep a journal of every manipulative event. Screenshot everything. Your documentation is your armor in court. A narcissist's greatest weakness is a well-documented timeline of facts. They deal in chaos. You must deal in evidence. Buy a notebook today. Not tomorrow, today. Start writing down everything. The date, the time, what happened, who was there, what was said. When they're late for pickup, write it down. When they send you 17 messages about nothing, screenshot them all. When they make threats, document them. They rely on confusion, on making you question your own memory, on creating so much chaos that no one can follow the timeline. Your documentation cuts through all of that. It creates a clear, factual record that exposes their patterns of behavior. Don't just document the big things, document everything. The subtle digs, the passive, aggressive comments, the way they undermine you in front of the children. Build a comprehensive picture of who they really are and how they really behave. And don't just keep it on your phone. Back it up, print it out. Save it in multiple places. They will try to destroy evidence if they can. They will hack your accounts if they can. They will delete messages if they can access your devices. Protect your documentation like your life depends on it, because it does. A narcissist feeds on drama. You must starve them of it. The gray rock method means you become as boring and unresponsive as a gray rock. Communicate only through lawyers or a co-parenting app. Use short, factual, emotionless sentences.
Yeah, yes, no.
I will have the children at 5 p.m. Do not explain. Do not defend. Do not engage. When you stop providing drama, they lose interest. This is the hardest part because everything in you wants to defend yourself. When they accuse you of being a bad parent, you want to list all the ways you're a good parent. When they twist the truth, you want to correct the record. When they attack your character, you want to fight back. Don't. Every time you respond emotionally, you're giving them exactly what they want. Every time you try to explain yourself, you're playing their game. Every time you defend yourself, you're acknowledging that their opinion matters. 6 p.m. That's it. Not pickup is at 6 p.m. And please make sure Emma has her backpack because last time you forgot it and she didn't have her homework. Just the facts. Just the necessary information. Nothing more. When they try to bait you with insults or accusations, don't take the bait. Noted. I will be there at 6 p.m. This conversation is not productive. Stay boring, stay factual, stay disengaged. Look, this is going to be the fight of your life. It's going to be ugly, it's going to be unfair, and it's going to push you to your limits. But the danger is not in the fight itself. The danger is in thinking you can fight it like a normal person. You cannot take their behavior personally because it's not about you. It's about a disorder. It's about their desperate, pathetic need for control. Your victory isn't winning in court. Your victory is your freedom. Your victory is your peace. Your victory is showing your children what a healthy, sane, and loving parent looks like. Now go build your fortress, fight smart, and reclaim your damn life.